Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I believe it's inevitable. I firmly believe that XRP at some point is going to go parabolic on the charts. I think it's going to hit its all-time high, and I think it'll enter a new realm of price discovery. Now, look, I do not have a financial background. I am not offering financial advice. And so you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm happy to share my honest opinion on this stuff, but I'm just an enthusiast. I don't know why I said enthusiast. That's a weird emphasis on that word. I'm just an enthusiast in the space, and I run a YouTube channel as a hobby. I mean, my name's Moon Lambo, so don't take me too seriously, right? I just want to be clear so that nobody thinks I'm someone or something that I'm not. I'm not pretending to be some sort of guru out there. Just a regular dude. But check this out. Look, I made a video. I put it out yesterday evening, and it was on the topic of perhaps having a prolonged market cycle, because there's so much institutional money coming in, and there's so much money, it seems, from corporates, specifically, publicly traded companies, flowing into crypto, that it really wasn't part of the calculus for most chart analysts over the last 1, 2, 3 years. We didn't know that this bull run would be institutionally led rather than retail led, which is what happened in every other market cycle for the last 12 years that cryptocurrencies have existed. But now institutions coming in. And I think it's changing a lot of people's perspective of what this particular market cycle is going to look like. If it indeed, it continues to be the case that massive quantities of money flows in from institutions and publicly traded companies and just corporates the world over, it could be the case that this market cycle tops off much higher than what many were anticipating. And already, and I cited this too yesterday, I'm already seeing all sorts of chart analysts up their Bitcoin price prediction for this market cycle. And I'd say rightfully so. You know, this is a fluid environment that we're in, and we don't know what's going to happen. And so if the money dries up, then I don't think you're going to have a prolonged market cycle. But right now, it looks like the money's just going to keep on flowing in. And so whatever we thought the top was for Bitcoin, potentially way higher, whatever we thought the top for XRP might have been for this market cycle, if it were retail driven, might end up being much higher. And of course, that does depend on money continuing to flow in. But that's why, you know, even CZ, the CEO of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume, Binance, even he says that he's expecting this market cycle to potentially last, this bull portion of it, potentially another 4 years. And I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying I do or don't believe that. I'm just sharing with you what he's reporting. But we are seeing reports today, and it seems like every day there are reports along these lines. Twitter is looking into investing in Bitcoin. Yes, Twitter. You've got General Motors that, although they said they're not going to purchase Bitcoin now, even they're looking into it. And then yesterday I reported that, who were the big ones yesterday? Apple. There's rumors that Apple's going to get in. There's rumors that Oracle's going to get in. You know, major corporations here. And Amazon, looks like there's proof now that Amazon's getting into crypto. Now, not at this moment in time, though, not evidence that they're going to be purchasing Bitcoin or a specific cryptocurrency, but jumping in nonetheless. This asset class is here to stay, and I'll be sharing with you specifics on that as well. Now, as I record this, you've got XRP at 51.7 cents, the market cap for the asset class at $1,383 billion, Bitcoin at $45,405, Bitcoin dominance at 61.12%. So this low market cap here, and it is low. Fine, it's near its all-time high, but this is low. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny market cap. Where do you guys think that's going to peak for this market cycle? 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 20 trillion? I wouldn't be surprised if it's to the upper side of those numbers. You know, like maybe it would be 10, maybe it would be 20 trillion. I'm not sure, because it depends on how quickly money also flows through coins. Because if you look at what happened last market cycle, you know, money would flow into X number of coins at a time, more or less, not perfectly lined up, and then they'd pump for maybe be weeks or whatever it'd be, and then they'd have substantial retracements, and then a lot of that money would just cycle into other cryptocurrencies, not based on fundamentals, mind you. It's just people looking for stuff that looked cheap relative to things that had pumped. That's really pretty much it. I talked about this extensively in my very last video. Because so many people, you know, retail speculators make huge mistakes in terms of, you know, investing. And I'm not offering financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell, but I'm just sharing with you my opinion that I think that the typical retail speculator does a horrible job of investing in cryptocurrencies. I think the data bears that out. But take a look at this headline. Twitter CFO considers buying Bitcoin while Grayscale reports heavy interest. Well, how about that? Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein, or is it Sonnenschein? I don't know. Whatever. He gave an interview on CNBC's Squawk Box about Tesla's entry into the crypto market and the possible entry of other companies. Sonnenschein stated that he was not surprised by the decision of the company led by Elon Musk. Bitcoin is gaining traction as a reserve asset for many CEOs and corporate treasury directors, a Grayscale CEO said, while adding, quote, "A lot of companies will move to this. We saw some of this in 2020, and I think we will see more in 2021. Boom, right there. Pay attention to this, because I'm telling you, if it's a substantial amount of money continuing to flow into crypto, this could get really buck wild, because you're talking about just with the X number of entities that have jumped in to this point, they you already see a market cap of 1.4 trillion, and so if we're really just getting started here, and this is going to be a multi-year bull market, I just like being here this early it could be life-changing. I believe it will be life-changing for so many people. Now, the investment firm's executive believes that corporate adoption of Bitcoin is part of a long-term investment. Therefore, they are likely to be less inclined to move their Bitcoin funds in reaction to an increase in its volatility. Comparing it to gold, Sonnenschein said Bitcoin still has a lot of room to grow. Companies are aware of this and perceive it as an opportunity. Yeah, and so Michael Saylor, he's the CEO of MicroStrategy, and they've bought over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin to this point. He was basically pointing that out. It's like, if you're holding the United States dollar, it's going to go down X% in terms of purchasing power due to inflation. Whereas even with Bitcoin, if you're just going to hold it, if you look historically what's happened, despite the volatility, you're looking at year over year, like over a 200% increase historically is what's happened. And they're just, the adoption's just continuing. It's verifiably scarce. And so if you are an entity, an institutional entity or a corporate, and you're purchasing Bitcoin, you're probably not going to behave like the idiot retail investors that FOMO in and panic sell. And so if you just don't worry about the volatility, perhaps you're going to be just fine, and you'll be in a much better position compared to if you were just holding cash reserves. That, to me, that could not be more obvious. Right now, Grayscale CEO revealed that they have been approached by major companies to buy Bitcoin. The main concern for institutions is the regulation of the crypto market and the lack of a legal framework. However, the latter has not stopped adoption, and Sonnenschein believes there is currently a race among big companies to buy the cryptocurrency, adding, quote, "You're going to see a lot of visionary leaders and disruptive companies realizing that they will move from why to why not. And we will see the next company adopt Bitcoin to their balance sheets." And so again, if this is the direction that we're going, what these analysts are predicting even for XRP could be too low. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know, but what if that's the case, because this market cycle gets way out of hand compared to what people were actually expecting here. And for those of you that have been worried about XRP not moving along with the bull cycle, first of all, I think it's provable to this point that XRP, it's moving in tandem with the rest of the market, like you'd expect it to. Everybody that panic sold from the SEC, and I don't blame them, but they're out. Everybody else now, there's all sorts of people that are seeing this as an opportunity and have jumped in. And so even if you're worried about the SEC stuff, if this is a multi-year bull portion of the market cycle, my gosh, it's not going to matter, because this XRP regulatory clarity stuff, it's going to be, I think, cleared up sooner than later. But anyway, on the same program, the founder of news outlet The Street, Jim Cramer, recommended everyone to own some Bitcoin. He also predicted the inclusion of cryptocurrency as a means of payment as part of a good diversification strategy. And so he concluded, quote, is this the quote right here? Oh, no, that's not it. It's just the thing about Grayscale. That's right. Let me just go lower. I don't really want to get into that anyway. Is Twitter the next company? In response to Grayscale CEO interview, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor responded that companies that choose to buy Bitcoin will be strengthening their capital structure for the benefit of their shareholders. Saylor is considered responsible for convincing Elon Musk to integrate Bitcoin into Tesla's treasury, and his company was the first to start this trend, followed by the Jack Dorsey-led Square. In that line, Twitter, also led by Dorsey, could buy Bitcoin soon as revealed by its CFO, Ned Segal, in an interview for CNBC. Here's a quote. We've done a lot of upfront thinking to consider how we might pay employees should they ask to be paid in Bitcoin, how we might pay a vendor if they asked to be paid in Bitcoin, and whether we need to have Bitcoin on our balance sheet. Well, how about that? Do you think they're going to do it? I'll make a for fun prediction. Yes, they will at some point. I don't know when. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. I think so many of these big companies are going to be just flooding the market, purchasing as much Bitcoin as they can. And there's not that much left. There's only a couple million Bitcoin on the market today, despite the fact that there's a max supply of 21 million. A bunch of it's left, a bunch of it's in deep cold storage, and that's just going to tremendously drive up price, I think. Now, there is this headline from You Today. General Motors will continue evaluating Bitcoin, says CEO Mary Barra. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. But I think there were some news stories out there that kind of were overblown this whole GM situation because they're not purchasing it today. They said, no, they're not. But even just the fact that they're monitoring it and just willing to even consider it, do you think they would have said something like that a few years ago? Because I sure as hell don't. So it's progress. And so here you go. Mary Barra, or Barra, I don't know, whatever. The CEO of General Motors Company says the legendary automaker will continue evaluating Bitcoin as a means of payment for its cars and services, CNBC reports. However, she has no plans to add it to the company's balance sheet as of now. And so that's pretty much the story. That's it. I don't feel like I need to read the rest of it. That's the gist of it. But you're going to continue to see on almost a daily basis major household names being bandied about as either purchases or potential purchasers of Bitcoin. And even if we're most excited about XRP or other cryptocurrencies, because in my opinion, that's where the greatest returns are to be had. That's what I suspect will be the case. We should be thrilled about seeing this because you're just talking about a bigger pie. That means more opportunity for XRP and every other crypto on the planet. So I'm cool with that. Shout out to XRP Crypto for sending this next piece my way. I very much do appreciate it. It's from CoinDesk titled, Amazon Preparing to Launch a Digital Currency Project in Mexico. And by the way, before I even read that part, take a look at what XRP Crypto Wolf wrote here. XRP will bridge mostly all walled garden type digital currencies, and it looks like what Amazon's going for here is basically that type of setup where it's a walled garden scenario, not designed to be some sort of, well, certainly not as a bridge currency, but it's not designed to be some sort of sufficiently decentralized crypto necessarily. And I don't even know for sure. I can't remember if it said it in this piece. I don't even know that it's going to be something that you can trade, because like banks are making bank coins and they're not even going to be traded on cryptocurrency markets. But anyway, Amazon's grip on the internet economy appears to be coming for currency next, with the e-commerce giant preparing to launch a digital currency project in Mexico. The yet-to-be-announced project, which Amazon sketched out across a series of recent job posts, appears to be an effort to keep lucrative Prime customers eternally plugged into Amazon's platform. Do you guys think that they're going to run into the same problem that Facebook ran into with Libra, which it got renamed to? I can't remember what Libra was renamed to, but do you think they're going to run into the same thing, or are they going to be more diligent in addressing regulators with their plans here? Well, anyway. This product will enable customers to convert their cash into digital currency using which customers can enjoy online services, including shopping for goods and or services like Prime Video, a one job post said of Amazon's new payment product. Amazon's digital and emerging payments division intends to roll out the product in Mexico first, the posting said. A second job posting hints the product appears to be broadly aimed at emerging markets. Amazon is hiring software development engineers at all levels to staff up for the launch. And so, look, if it is going to be something that's traded, and it is a walled garden situation, which it kind of sounds like it would be, if you want to get in and out of it or any other tokenized asset, you're going to need a bridge, and that's what XRP is being positioned for. So ultimately, although utility doesn't matter sufficiently today, but it will in the future. These projects that don't do anything, although they're going to be part of this market cycle, it looks like anyway, in terms of pumping, it's in subsequent market cycles, perhaps not the case. I think a lot of these projects just go away because at some point there's going to be a sufficient maturation of the asset class. And if you don't have a cryptocurrency that functionally is useful, money's going to stop flowing into it. Today is not that day, though. That's as far as I can tell. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.